Good morning. In our last period, we have completed our discussion over production analysis. I have sent you already the notes on this particular chapter. And from today, let us try to analyze the fifth and the last unit of your syllabus. It is on cost analysis. In this unit, broadly, we will discuss different concepts of costs, meaning of costs and different concepts of costs like real costs and money costs, implicit and explicit costs, short-run and long-run costs. Let us draw cost curves and their relations. I will also give you a cost table, how to prepare a cost table including different concepts of costs. Let us also try to understand the cost function. There is a functional relationship between output and cost of production. Let us study different cost functions also. So first of all, what do you mean by cost of production? Cost of production refers to the expenses incurred in the production of a commodity or a service. Every production involves some cost of production because a producer has to make use of different inputs, including different factors of production like land, labor, capital, organization, machines, tools, equipments, buildings, etc. For all these things, he has to bear some costs. So cost of production is the expenses incurred in the production of a commodity or a service. Why this concept is important as far as a producer is concerned? Every producer should possess an in-depth knowledge of various concepts of costs because cost of production can determine the size of production and supply of a commodity. Production and supply of a commodity, it depends upon the cost of production. Similarly, cost of production also determines the number of firms in a particular industry. The number is decided on the basis of the cost of production also. Then the profit of a firm also depends upon the cost of production. Every firm would like to maximize its profit. For this, the firm has to reduce and minimize its cost of production so that it can enjoy higher income and profit. So the ultimate goal of every business firm is to maximize its profit. He has to minimize his cost of production, then only he can enjoy maximum profit. Therefore, now let us try to analyze different concepts of costs. First is real costs and money costs. What do you mean by real cost? Real cost refers to the cost of tension, commotion, pressure, sacrifice borne by a particular producer. You know very well, production is a very difficult job. Every producer has to bear pressure, commotion, tension, and he has to make some sacrifice while producing goods and services. So all these costs are considered as real costs and they cannot be measured because it is purely a subjective concept. Real costs cannot be measured, but it has to be borne by every producer while producing a particular commodity or a service. Money costs. Money costs are the costs which are expressed in terms of money. For example, the price of a pen is rupees 20. Here, the cost of that pen is expressed in money terms. Cost of producing a desk, for example, if it is rupees 2000, then the cost of that desk is rupees 2000. So this is the cost of that desk expressed in money terms. So money costs are the costs which are expressed in money terms or in terms of money. Then secondly, implicit costs and explicit costs. What are implicit costs? Implicit costs are the costs which are incurred for the use of own inputs. Sometimes a business organizer can make use of his own inputs like own land, own labor, own capital, like that. So we have to calculate the cost incurred for the use of his own inputs. They are all implicit costs, and they do not enter into the books of accounts. They do not enter into the books of accounts. For example, the cost of his own land, cost of his own capital, cost of a producer if the labor of his family members are used. Then, what are explicit costs? Explicit costs are the costs which are incurred for the use of hired inputs. A producer has to hire different inputs while producing a particular commodity or a service. For example, cost of land on rent, cost of labor if they are hired, wages will be given, cost of interest for loaned capital. So these are the examples of explicit costs. Explicit costs are the costs which are incurred for the use of hired inputs, and they does enter into the books of accounts. All explicit costs does enter into the books of accounts. Then third is short run and long run costs. Already we have understood the terms short run and long run. Short run is a period during which a firm can alter its scale of production by varying some factors of production by keeping some factors constant. Therefore, in the short run, some factors are fixed factors and some other factors are variable factors. Therefore, all short run costs can also be classified as fixed costs and variable costs. So this is the classification of costs only in the short run, because in the short run some factors are held constant and some other factors will be varied. Therefore, all such costs incurred is called as short run costs. Therefore, short run costs are the costs which includes fixed costs and variable costs. Then what are fixed costs? Fixed costs are the costs which do not vary as the scale of production changes. Whatever may be the scale of production, here costs would remain the same. For example, cost of rent on land, then payment of interest on loaned capital, then royalty. Royalty means a fixed amount which is to be paid by the mining companies to the landowner for having the right of extracting minerals. Sometimes minerals may be found in private land. That person may not be interested in mining activity. Then the right of extracting minerals will be given to a mining company. Those mining companies will provide a definite annual amount to the landowner for having the right of extracting minerals, that is called as royalty. It will also be a fixed amount. So these are all fixed costs: rent, interest, royalty, etc. Then what are variable costs? Variable costs are the costs which do vary as the scale of production changes. For example, cost of raw materials, cost of energy or cost of power, cost of wages. So these are the examples for variable costs: cost of raw materials, cost of power, cost of wages, etc. So in this way, in the short run, all costs can be classified into fixed costs and variable costs. Fixed costs are the costs which do not vary as the scale of production changes, but variable costs are the costs which do vary as the scale of production changes. Then, long run is a period during which a firm can alter its scale of production by varying all the inputs, all the factors of production. Therefore, in the long run, all factors are variable costs and all costs are variable costs. In the long run, all factors will be variable factors. Therefore, all costs are variable costs in the long run. So, long run costs are the variable costs. And it is a period during which a firm can alter its scale of production by varying all the factors of production. So already we have discussed short run production function and long run production functions with the help of the law of variable proportions or the law of diminishing returns and the laws of returns to scale. Now, let us study some other concepts. Let us study in detail the short run costs. Short run costs, number one, total cost. Total cost refers to the total expenses incurred in the production of a commodity. In the short run, total cost is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost, because in the short run, costs can be classified into fixed cost and variable cost. Therefore, total cost is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Let us draw total cost curve also. Total cost curve will be like this: OX, OY. So here, output, inputs. So total fixed cost curve will be like this. TFC here represents total fixed cost curve. Then total variable cost curve will be like this, TVC. Total variable cost curve starts from origin, that is starts from 0, because if your output is 0, then total variable cost would also be 0. So here inputs or cost, you can also measure cost of production also, output and cost. Total fixed cost curve, total variable cost curve. To get total cost curve, add these two curves. So this is total cost curve. It starts from here. So this is the total cost curve. Then another concept in the short run. Number 2, average cost. Average cost AC is equal to average fixed cost plus average variable cost, or AC is equal to total cost divided by number of units produced. We can calculate the average cost in the short run like this. Average cost AC is equal to average fixed cost plus average variable cost, or average cost is equal to total cost divided by number of units produced. Suppose if a total cost is 80 units and if 10 units are produced, average cost will be rupees 8. Total cost divided by number of units produced, or average fixed cost plus average variable cost. Then the third concept in the short run, marginal cost. Marginal cost is an addition to total cost by producing some more units of output. Marginal cost is an addition to total cost by producing some more units of output. For example, the cost of producing 100 pen is equal to rupees 1000. Cost of producing 100 pen is equal to rupees 1000. Suppose if 101 pens are produced, rupees 1010 is the total cost. Then an addition to total cost by producing some more units of output. It means here marginal cost is equal to rupees 10. An addition to total cost by producing some more units, that is one more unit of output here. To produce one more pen, 1010 rupee will be the total cost. Initial cost is rupees 1000 for the production of 100 pens. Then rupees 10 more is added to produce one more unit of pen. So this is marginal cost. Then how to draw average cost and marginal cost curve. First you have to draw OX and OY. Here output and cost. Average cost curve will be in the short run will be U-shaped, SAC, and the marginal cost SMC. SAC short run average cost curve, SMC short run marginal cost curve. So both are U-shaped but more pronounced. So this is the more pronounced shape of cost curves. So cost curves are U-shaped but more pronounced in the short run. So what is the relation? Both average cost and marginal cost will go on decrease in the initial stage as the scale of output is increased. At one stage it will reach the minimum level. After that, if you go on increase your output, both average cost and marginal cost will go on increase. So this is the meaning of U-shaped cost curves. U-shaped cost curve. In the initial stage, costs are at a higher level. As you increase your scale of output, it will go on decrease. At one stage, they will reach the minimum level. Once again, they will go on increase as the scale of output is increased. Another is Shortrun marginal cost curve cuts the Shortrun average cost curve from below at its minimum point. So this is the relation. One relation is they are U-shaped and marginal cost curve cuts the average cost curve from below at its lowest point. So these curves are highly related, and we have to consider the position of average cost and marginal cost very carefully. Then in our next period, I'll give you a cost table, how to prepare a cost table, how to estimate the fixed cost, variable cost, average fixed cost, average variable cost, marginal cost, like that. I'll give you a data, and we have to prepare one cost table by using some formulas. Okay, so with this I am concluding. Thank you.